Hi everyone and welcome to Tuesdays with Tova. I'm really glad that you're here with me today. We're going to give a minute for people who want to join on, and I'm just going to refresh my page here. Gotta love technology, so I can both check the screen and see if anybody has questions or comments as they come up. And today what we're going to talk about is looking at the whole idea of gift giving on Christmas, on Hanukkah. No matter what your religion is, other religions have different times of year where they give gifts, but I'm going to refer mostly to Hanukkah and Christmas. And are they actually really grateful for them? The reason that I'm bringing this topic up, is one of the things that I see with my clients, I see in Facebook groups that I belong to, and I see honestly with my family and friends, is the world that we live in which there is so much affluence, no matter where you are, by the way, on the financial scale. Just look in your kids' bedroom and the amount of toys that they have, is that their kids are less grateful for what they have. It's just kind of a fact, right? When you are constantly inundated with gifts on a regular basis from grandparents, from aunts, you don't really have to, in many homes, work for things that you want. Then it's not that you don't necessarily appreciate it in the moment, you're not excited about what you get, but 5 minutes later you kind of forget, or you're not even appreciative. And some of the stories that have been shared with me are of parents who are really frustrated because it seems that from this exciting gift-giving time in their life, it's become kind of a point of contention in their house where the kids aren't satisfied if the gift isn't big enough, isn't as expensive enough, isn't the fancy gaming system that they wanted or the fancy phone that they wanted. And there's this expectation of really expensive gifts the older that they get, and can be really frustrating. So the first question I want to ask you is this something that you see in your own house? Do you see it in your own house? Do you see it with your friends, with your colleagues, maybe with your nieces and nephews? Is this something that you are used to or has happened in your house? I want you to think a moment and notice, because sometimes as life is kind of crazy, we don't always pay attention to these details. How do your kids respond? How do they view gifts? Do they review it as a right to get a gift from you, and a right to get a certain kind of level of gift or a certain amount of gifts? Or is it something that they are excited for and grateful for no matter what you gave them? So even if you spent time and thought about what they really loved and cared about and got them a really small but meaningful gift, would they be just as grateful if it wasn't big? So take a moment and think about that. For those of you who are new and don't know me, my name is Tova Gar, and I help parents and teens navigate this digital world that we live in and learn how to do it successfully. And what I want to do today is I want to offer you a few options on how you can kind of switch that around and switch what's going on in your family to really gratitude around gift giving. I was in actually just a couple of hours ago in a Facebook group that I belong to, and a woman had posted, she was sharing that she is a stepmom to two 12-year-old daughters, and their mother passed away in the last year, and the father is thinking about getting them for a Christmas gift this very expensive guitar, because it was something that their mother used to do when she was younger. She used to play guitar, and he thinks it would be really meaningful, but the reality is that they don't have the budget. They don't have the budget for a minimum $600 guitar. And she had posted it on for advice, and a lot of people were saying, well, just don't get it. You'll be fine with just giving them a frame of a picture of them, and that's just fine. And my suggestion to her was different. I said, clearly, this is something that is meaningful to your husband, which she said so in her own post. So she thinks it's not only just for them, but for him as well. And this is something that you think is going to be really meaningful for the girls. So you can either say, I don't have the money for it and therefore I'm going to scrap it, or you can actually use the opportunity and make it into something that's a lot more than just giving a gift. And in this case, what I suggested is that what they do is that as a gift, they create a fund. And in the fund, they put the amount of money that they feel they can spend on a gift. So whether that's $100 or $200 or whatever it is that they feel that they can afford for a gift for them for Christmas. And that in that money jar is a money jar that is dedicated to buying a guitar specifically for that purpose with their mother in mind. Everybody knows what this is for, and that they create it as an ongoing experience. And so there's that money sitting there. And then every week, even you could create a ritual out of it if you wanted, money is put into this jar. And it can be 50 cents or $1. It doesn't have to be a tremendous amount of money. But what we know is that when we actually save dollar to dollar, it adds up pretty quickly. And then you can create it as actually a whole family experience of then going to look for the right guitar and going to stores where there's a brand new guitar and stores where there are old and used guitars. And it can be an opportunity to create space for the girls to talk about their mother and talk about their feelings, as well as connecting to who she was and what she meant to them. And at the same time, creating for this woman a chance to connect and bond with these girls around this experience, around their mother, and make their connection stronger. I was happy to see that you really liked this suggestion, and I'm excited to see what happens, and hopefully she'll update it, you never know, on Facebook, and people are gonna circle back and share what happened. But what I'd like to share with you is specifically around my personal Hanukkah experience and how what my parents did and how they turned it around. So when I was about 10, I went to my aunt's house one night on Hanukkah. Now in our house, we were given one gift on Hanukkah. Yes, it's 8 nights, and we were given one gift. And that was great, and we were grateful for it. I did not grow up in a house that had a lot of extra funds or money, and I was really happy for whatever it was that I got. But then I went this night to my aunt's and found out, to my shock and horror, that she gave 8 gifts. Every night my cousins would get a gift, and I was like, this is not fair. This is not okay. And I came back home and I was really outraged by this, and I shared it with my parents, and my parents were like, well, too bad. If you want 8 gifts a night, you can move in with your aunt. That was pretty much the response. And clearly I did not think that that was a good idea. But then my parents came back to me, and they actually had a really creative idea, which was one that then lived with us for many, many years in our family. And they said, well, if you want a gift every day, then what we can do is, there are 6 of us, or 6 members in our family, and mind you, my youngest sister at the time was probably around 2. And what we'll do is that every night somebody else is responsible for giving gifts. So between our family and our extended family Hanukkah party, you'd be getting a gift almost every night, except for the night that you were giving. And that's what happened. So basically from that year, the next year moving forward, we each had to plan our budget, how much we were going to spend on Hanukkah gifts for the rest of the family. We had to think creatively about what it was, how much money we had, how much we could afford, what could we get that would make other people happy. And everyone, according to their age, including my 3-year-old sister, participated in this ritual. So we all gave something, right? We all gave something to each other, even if that first year, probably, honestly don't remember, but it probably, let's be fair, she's 34 today, but it probably could have been just a drawing from her, right, to each and every one of us. But over the years, those presents became more sophisticated. The older we got, we were able to save a little bit more and get some things that were more meaningful. But what that did, and what it created, is it allowed us to learn some additional skills, right? First of all, we had to plan in advance, something that we know that teens are not so great at often. So we had to think in advance. We had to think about the budget that we had, and we had to save money. It's not like we were making money at the time. I was getting a minimal allowance. So I had to think about, was I going to save my allowance? Was I going to go do some babysitting, do other work so I could make some more money so my presents could be a little bit more impressive? I then had to think about each member of my family and who they were, what would make them happy, where could I contribute, where could I give to each one, because there's a great joy in giving a gift and seeing people really enjoy what you have, which is something that your kids aren't going to learn until they actually start giving gifts, right? So why wait until later? Have them give gifts now. And so again, we learned a budget, we learned to think in advance, we learned to be thoughtful and considerate of the other members of our family. With 4 kids, we fought quite often. And so this was a time of year where we could give gifts and not fight, right? How wonderful is that? So it really, what it allows you to do is it allows you to teach multiple skills, and at the same time, also what happens is your kids become a lot more grateful for what it is that they're getting, because they realize the effort that goes into buying someone a gift, right? And what it is that you need to go through in order to think about it. So for those of you who celebrate Christmas and are saying, well, we don't have 8 days, so we're not going to spread this out over, a long period of time. That's not what's really important, right? What's really important is you can all do it on the same day. So instead of the gifts under the tree just being gifts that you give them, is that the ritual can be you give gifts and so do they, right? And everybody takes the moment where they get to be the gift giver. They get to be the one who creates joy. They get to be the ones who create a sense of connection and belonging. And you can help them with that process. You can let them do it on their own. Depends how old they are, and other factors. But you know your family. You know what's right for you, and just give it a try. Right? It's early enough that you could try this both for Hanukkah, which is in a couple of weeks, and for Christmas, which is a month away. So you have enough time, maybe not for your kids to do a tremendous amount of saving, but again, it's not a question of the size of the gift. It's a question of the thoughtfulness. And there are a lot of really thoughtful, meaningful gifts that you can buy for a minimal amount of money. Trust me, over the years, I have done it many, many times. So I'm offering this to you as a suggestion and a way to help your kids become more grateful for what it is that they have, grateful for what it is that they're giving, and learn how to be grateful in the greater context of what the holidays are really about, and the connection, and taking out of the holidays what I see happen in a lot of families where it's really all about the present, right? So the presents are great and they're fun, but let's make it about a lot more than the presents. Let's make it about connection. Let's make it about thoughtfulness. Let's make it about being a strong member of your family and connecting with one another. So I hope that this was helpful. I hope it was a great idea. If this is something you connected with, I would love if you would share it with others so they can learn and experience as well. I look forward to seeing you again on next Tuesday. If you would like to connect with me, if you would like to help, if you need my help figuring out how to do this in your family, or if you've got a unique family situation like the woman I was sharing about before and you need some more individual help, feel free to reach out to me. You can always find me at www.tovagarr.com. That's TOVAGARR.com. That's where you can easily find the contact button and reach out. So have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you are in the world. And I look forward to seeing you again next Tuesday.